How's it going, everyone? Hope you're all keeping well, and welcome back to a new video here for round 6 of the RTA IndyCar Series. And today we are at the Long Beach circuit. But before we get into that one, if you didn't see the previous race at Mid-Ohio, make sure you give that one a look before we get into this one. And after that race in Mid-Ohio, you can see the standings here, moving up one place, overtaking Emma Dempsey into 13th and just 6 points behind Wayne Douglas now. So was a good round in Mid-Ohio, could have been better, but still had some decent results considering I wasn't overly comfortable around that.
That's your quickest lap.
But getting back to this one, on the streets of Long Beach in California today, and in real life, other than the Indy 500, one of the races in IndyCar that holds the most prestige. Suppose you can see, just looking at the track, similar to the likes of Monaco and Singapore in the F1 world. Street circuit, very tight, walls are very close, but unlike say Monaco, we do have a very long straight heading along the pit straight into turn 1, so even for a street circuit it is very fast, almost like Baku. And I think here today, even during all my practice the day before this, I wasn't really focused on being too fast. My pace didn't seem to be great, but my mentality for this one was just to keep it clean, keep it consistent, and I think that would lead to some good results with other people maybe not keeping it as clean and not keeping it in between the walls. But now getting towards the end of qualifying, going to come across the line to set a 1 minute 9.3, improving by about 9/10 of a second, but there's still time to find in that lap at the start why it's my fastest flying lap in qualifying. Braking at around the 400 board for turn 1, heaviest braking zone on the track before heading into the fountain roundabout section of turn 2 and then into turn 4, clipping the apex, running out as I think that was Simon Hutchins after having a spin in turn 5, so luckily there was enough room to avoid him there. Did cost us a couple of tenths of a second as we head down into turn 6. Important or tricky area to get the traction down now is braking at around the 200 for turn 8. Easy to lock up and run into the wall there, since you want to carry as much speed as you can along East Seaside Way. Braking then into the final section of the track, nice left hand or right hander, and then you come into the double left before the tightest corner on the track, the hairpin. Want to keep it as close as you can to the inside barrier, get on the power as early as you can coming up and crossing the line. It's our fastest lap at the end of qualifying. So in the end, finishing up in 13th place, just under 1.5 seconds off pole position man of Dylan McClemens, just ahead of Campto and Connor. Wasn't my best performance, about 4/10 of a second ahead of Keith Dempsey ahead, so not really sure if I could have improved my starting position, but hopefully we can keep it clean and improve our finishing position in race 1. So as we're getting ready to go here for the first time at Long Beach, heading into the final turn, there was a note from the stewards about this, that we're going to take it single file through the hairpin since it is so tight.
Here we go.
Then we're going to bunch up on the exit and then we're going to go, but even not being that far down the field, by the time I got out of the hairpin, the leaders had already gone. So we're going here for race 1, had a good gap behind, good gap in front, so I want to take it nice and easy into turn 1 and make sure we make it through nice and safely. But still, even with cold tyres, just don't have the braking performance. So a bit deep, but don't lose anything there. It's up ahead, it's Keith Dempsey making a very opportunistic move on Jordan Kelly into the fountain hairpin on lap 1. Not really much else happened for the rest of that lap. The end of the lap heading into the final turn, I saw puffs of smoke up ahead, so decided to take a wider line there to avoid anything that might have happened. And you might have seen there that there was a bit of a front wing on the road. And we're starting lap 2 now. Up one place, I think there was somebody had ended up in the pits at the end of that first lap. It's up ahead, Jordan going a bit deep in turn one. It's all kind of kicking off there. I think somebody was making another move into the fountain, which isn't really an overtaking place, but seems to be providing a few overtakes in race one here. That's up ahead in front of Jordan Darahally in the green and gold car. I think he must have some kind of damage. He's going a bit slowly, so hopefully he doesn't hold us up too long if that is the case, and we can try and get past nice and quickly. Heading towards the final sector of lap 2 now. You can see Jordan is blinking, or starting to blink a good bit, and that isn't the reason why I ran a bit deep there, but it is a bit distracting, so not really too sure where he is there. You can see through the hairpin, just blinking in and out. I didn't want to fully commit to the corner in case, I don't know, it wouldn't be like Jordan to make a mistake and go for a half spin or anything, but he could have, and if he was blinking I wouldn't have known he was there, and could have ended up running into him. So hopefully that doesn't affect us too much as Jordan clips the wall there at the start of lap 3. Then we cut to the end of lap 3. Again, Jordan blinking, and on the exit of the hairpin, just getting the traction down a bit too early and don't have the grip, going for a bit of a slide. We've lost ground to the cars ahead, and now we're side by side with Simon Hutchins heading down the long pitch straight into turn 1. On the outside line, I decided to brake early. I wasn't going to fight it, but Simon brakes way too late on the inside, hits into the barrier, and we get that move done. And lucky there that Simon, he bounced back out onto the track. Luckily he didn't collect us, as later on in lap 4 then Jordan going a bit deep into that right hander into the wall, and we get another move done. And then once again into turn 1, Kevin Joyce in the Arrow McLaren liveried car going deep into turn 1, and I think he has some wing damage now as well, so don't think Dara did end up having damage. Definitely know that Kevin does now. I can see here, skipping on to lap 6, we are right on the back of Kevin, and his wing damage seems to be having a pretty big effect on his pace at the moment. Kevin's shown all this season that he is very quick in these Indy cars, so he's been quicker than me this season, and I don't expect to be able to be on the back of him here, especially around this track where I don't feel like I'm too fast. It's just so hard to overtake here. Suppose it is probably the closest thing to Monaco that you will get on the IndyCar calendar, and it's really showing that here, even with the damage, not able to get past Kevin. Keith Dempsey, don't know what kind of damage he had, but he ended up going wide into the wall there, so we both get through. And now heading through this left-hander, probably one of my weakest corners on the track. We not able to stay right to the back of Kevin, but through that right-hander there, where grip and downforce does play a key role, we managed to close back in a bit, heading into the final sector then. Through turn 9, Kevin goes a bit deep. We get a bit of a switchback, and now through turn 10 and into 11, we're on the outside line. I'm going to go for a tentative dive down the inside of the hairpin. I managed to get past, but with the tighter inside line, we're not able to get the traction. Kevin gets the better exit, and he manages to get back ahead. So, didn't want to fully commit to that move because bit dangerous place to go for an overtake, but now challenging in the slipstream along the straight into turn 1. I was kind of hoping that Kevin would do like Simon did earlier in this race and just outbrake himself, and we could switch back underneath and get the move done, but he manages to hit his braking point nicely and hold that position on the inside. And we're stuck behind Kevin for another lap here now, and in 10th place. The most we can hope for now in this race is getting past Kevin up into P9. But just a lap later, in the exact same section of the track, tried to go for the same move, but Kevin doesn't go as wide. So instead we're going to try around the outside of the hairpin and try and get a good exit, but I run in a bit too deep and not able to get the turning on the car, and we just run into the wall on the outside and get a bit of damage of our own. So frustrated with that, and it put an end to my battle with Kevin as we come around the hairpin for the final time in race 1, and we're going to finish up in the top 10. So P10 then, up 3 places, and pretty good result all things considered. Really only making up positions from other people having issues, which is one of the key things around this track, and hopefully we can do the same in race 2, because honestly I don't think I have the pace to make up many positions without other people having issues. So hopefully we can keep it clean and move up even further in this second. So race 2 then, a bit further up the starting grid this time, so hopefully we can be closer to the leaders at the start and out of the hairpin. We do start to bunch up, and I lift off, and just as I started to lose speed because I thought I was coming up to the back of the cars ahead, we are going. So the cars ahead get a bit of a jump on me there, and yeah, losing out a bit of ground. Again, taking it nice and easy into turn 1 this time, not running deep, and yeah, not losing much ground. In the mirror behind, there was a car, I think, going into the fountain there, which I actually just noticed now, and I'm commentating on this.
Okay, Ken, the next
yeah,
car
luckily it didn't run into the back of me or anything, as on the exit of turn 4, yeah, a bit of a slide. Now we're going to come under pressure from Keith Dempsey. In the chrome car, what was around the outside, carries the speed, and then we kind of meet in the middle a bit there, and yeah, there was a lot more room and a lot easier for him to not crash into me there than there was for me to yeah, I just didn't really have the grip to turn much further to the left there, so that caused, I think it was Brandon McCaughlin who was behind me, to hit into the back of me, and now I have rear wing damage, which we're going to have to carry through the next 13 and a half minutes left in this race. End of lap 1 now, we've lost that place to Keith, and we've gained another one from, I think it was Jason Smith, coming into the pits. So we stay in our starting position of P10, as on lap 2 then heading down into turn 5, just locking up the brakes a bit, going in a bit deep, but luckily we have a good gap behind, and we only lose ground ahead, don't lose any positions behind. A couple of laps later then, not really much else happened, but it's all happening up ahead as Kevin Joyce's rear wing is hanging off, so we weren't able to get past him in race 1. It's a lot easier to get past him this occasion. Moving up into P9, now we're skipping ahead to the end of this lap and back down the pit straight, as Jamal, who is the car right ahead now, is a lap down, and he's been notorious for this all season, just not getting it out of the way for cars that are going to lap him. Eventually he does, but we were a lot closer to Keith than a second. We were a couple of tenths behind.
5 minutes remaining.
Lost a bit of ground there.
Front is Dempsey, car number 20.
Anyway, moving along, Keith goes in a bit deep there, so we're not able to get alongside into turn 8, sending it down the inside. You can see in the mirror there that the right hand side of Keith's wing is missing, so he has less downforce, so he's able to get back alongside into turn 9, but we managed to hold it around the outside, now have the inside for turn 10, and going into the hairpin, the final corner, we are clear of Dempsey. So up into P8 then, and if it stays like this, we're going to start the final race from pole position with the reverse top 8, but just a couple of laps later then, Sean McLennan's in the pits, so we move up into P7, and yeah, that was all that happened for the rest of the race then, coming to cross the line to finish race 2 in 7th place. So P7 then, up another 3 places just like in race 1, and again similar to race 1, Dylan McClemon's taking the win and us about 40 seconds behind. So going to start race 2 from the front row of the grid alongside Tony Stack. My first time other than at Indianapolis starting up on the front row, so hopefully we can make the most of it and convert it to a good result. So for the final time from the streets of LA, here starting race 3 from the front row of the grid in 2nd place, and coming out of the final corner, Tony Stack on pole position does not heed what was said before the race about race starts and letting the pack bunch up, but either way we get a good start in the slipstream down into turn 1. We take the inside line, brake later and get the move done up into the lead of the race, and from here now just going to try and keep it all calm, keep it between the walls, and hopefully we can hang on for the next 20 minutes. And I was really hoping that Tony would stay in second place behind me and maybe try and hold up the faster lads and give me a bit of a gap, but skip ahead towards the end of lap 4 now. That hasn't happened. Dara Halley is behind us in second place, and out of turn 8 he gets a good exit, gets a run, takes the inside line and gets the move done up into the lead of this race, pushing myself down into second as we head on to lap 5. And you can see in the mirror a good train of cars behind me, so I was hoping that maybe I could stick with Dara and use his slipstream, but even already, and he's only overtaken me a couple of corners ago, we're already outside of the slipstream range, so kind of just decided at this point already to let him go and focus on keeping the cars that are behind me. Peter McCann in third place at the moment, right on my rear wing, and through turn 5 just get a bit of a slide and Peter gets a bit of a run. Luckily he was so close behind that he kind of got a little bit checked up and get a proper run. So we hold the inside line into turn 6, make a little bit of contact on the exit. I had a bit of a slide and came together a little bit. Luckily no damage for either of us, and we hold position in second place. You can see here into the final corner having a bit of a lock up, but luckily that doesn't really matter because it's all about the exit you get from that turn heading down the pit straight. And that's really all I was doing for these few laps as we made contact with the inside wall there. Luckily don't get any damage, but yeah, throughout the majority of the lap I was not fast enough, and I was just getting a good exit out of that hairpin and managed to keep ahead. But this time into the hairpin, Campto sends it down the inside, makes contact, a lot of contact, and manages to get past. Peter also getting past, get a lot of damage there. That was a stupid move, to be honest, and there was no hope of getting that move done. I think it's what you would call a textbook punt to pass, but there's nothing I can do about it now, and after losing 2 places there, have a damaged car, so I'm going to be even slower than it wasn't. Yeah, that's something with a lot of these young fast lads, is they have no patience. When they're a bit quicker, they just feel like they're entitled to kind of push you out of the way to get past. Speaking of young fast lads, which this one isn't like that, Dylan McClemens getting the move done down the inside of the hairpin, left him room, and then on the exit that allows Jordan Kelly to get past as well. And this, what's going to happen here now, is one of the worst moments I've had in a league race in a long time.
Car right, clear on the right. There's an incident in turn 1.
Just heading into turn 1, bit distracted by the cars ahead and what was after happening in the last couple of laps. Completely missed my braking point, ran into the back of Jordan, taking the 2 of us pretty much out of the race. And yeah, went back to the pits, got a tow back, got the damage repaired, and came back out onto the track. As we're heading to the final corner for the final time, we're going to finish race 3. Because of how much of a bloodbath it was for everyone else as well, we're going to finish in P10.
P10, that's the end of the race. Never mind.
Chicken flag.
So 10th it was then, a lap behind Dara, who went on to win the race, with Campto and Dylan then rounded out the podium. Jordan, who, yeah, very sorry for what happened there in that final race, finishing behind us in 3rd place, or in 11th place, and I did end up getting a 15-point penalty for that incident, which fully deserved. Unfortunate that happened, considering I could have got a really good result in this race, and instead we only get a decent result, but it's kind of overshadowed by those 15 points of penalties. And because of that incident I caused, I forgot to even report Campto's pump to pass move, so he got away with that scot-free. But what that means for the standings then, after 6 of the 8 rounds, is we remain in 13th place. Couple of points behind Jordan, who moves down. Campto moving up a lot because of his good results here in Long Beach, and still might be an outside chance for getting into the top 10 comes the season's end, but not looking entirely likely at this stage. Think we'd have to rely on a good bit of good luck on my side and bad luck from others in the final 2 races, which are now at Phoenix, the oval there, instead of the Daytona Oval, and then the season finale in Barber. But that is it for this video and this race in the RTA IndyCar Series. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe before you go. But until the next one, thanks for watching and see you then.